Greetings, children. Welcome to your online classes. I request you all to like and subscribe the channel so that you can get the further videos. This video is for the third standard general science subject, and the lesson is plants around us, leaves in our lives. This lesson will be in two parts. In the first part, we will be covering about the different kinds of trees and plants. In the second video, we will be covering about the leaves. So the introduction is so that this chapter you're going to learn about different types of plants and trees that are around us and how are they divided. In different places we see that different plants have different features because plants adapt and modify their parts according to their surroundings. What does this mean? It means that different plants they adopt to their surroundings, adopt in the sense change themselves to the requirement of the surroundings. Like if they are living in the water, if they're living, you have seen plants which live in the water, they adapt themselves so that they can get adjusted to the water environment. Now some plants like cactus they live in the deserts. Now what happens in the deserts? There is very less water, so what do? The plants adopt themselves to the desert environment in such a way that the roots are go deep inside, and you are going to see what are the different adaptations they have gone through. You can see a big plant tree now, right? There is only one tree and lot of grass grown. You can see a mango tree. You can see a climber. Okay, it is a climber. That means they need support to grow. All these things you have learned in your previous classes or your previous year. Okay, then this is the plant in a pot which you can keep it at home. A banana plant you can see on your screen, and you can see another plant in the tree. Now we are going to see the different types of plants. Plants are mainly they are divided into terrestrial plants and aquatic plants. Terrestrial plants means the plants which live on land, like how the animals that they live in land, like, and animals which live in water, right? Like that, these plants they live on land. Like the example given on your screen is the banyan tree. Now this banyan tree is an example for the plant that grow on land. Now the plants which grow on land, or the plants or the trees that grow on land, are called terrestrial plants. And what are the animals which grow in which live in water called? Aquatic animals, right? Just like that, you can see the example of lotus plant on your screen, which shows that the plant can live on or in the water, and those plants which live on or in the water are called aquatic plants. Now here we are going to see what are the terrestrial plants. As I told you, the plants that grow on land are called terrestrial plants. Now terrestrial plants are of different types. Now you have seen some plants, some trees that grow on mountains, some trees that grow in the deserts. Like that, we have divided the plants which grow on land into five types. There are terrestrial plants are divided into five types. The five types are coniferous trees. In the further slides, I will be explaining about what are the different characteristics of all these plants. Now we are just going to see what are the five different types of the plants. That is coniferous trees, plants that grow on plains, I will explain it. Plants that grow on coastal areas, plants that grow in marshy areas, plants that grow in deserts. These are the main five different types of plants that grow on the land. That means the terrestrial plants. First, we are going to see the coniferous trees. As you can read, Plants that grow in cold and hilly areas. Cold and hilly areas means you can imagine, you would have watched in the TV or you would have seen that in the mountain regions, this kind of trees, the example pine tree is given for you. These kind of trees you would have seen, especially I can give you a best example is the the pine tree, which is also called Xmas tree, which is used during the Christmas. Yes, those trees are grown in the hilly or cold region, very cold. There is snowfall, and it is a hilly area. That's why they are called the coniferous trees. They have straight and tall trunks and needle-like leaves. They have needle-like leaves means that the tip of the leaf is very thin. It means it is very sharp. It is like it looks like a needle. They do not have flowers. These coniferous trees do not have flowers. They are slopy shape. The sloping shape of the tree makes the snow to fall off easily. That means these trees are the trees which grow especially on the mountains. Now on the mountains, what happens? There is a lot of snowfall, and the weather is a little extreme than what we compare to other places. So there, this when the snow falls on these leaves on these trees, it can easily fall down on the ground. That is why they are shaped like a cone. You cone means you all would have had ice cream cones. Yes, that cone shaped is just, if you turn the ice cream cone and see, it will look just like the pine tree, right? That is why it is called the coniferous trees. They have cones instead of which have seeds inside. Instead, they don't have flowers, so they to make their seeds they have cones. You would have seen different kinds of cones. Now these cones help them to keep the seeds inside. So this is about the coniferous trees. Now, the plants that grow in plains. Plains means are the region which are just a plain. They are not mountainous, high or very low. They are just plains. The trees and plants in the plains have many branches and numerous leaves. That means the teak tree, the example that you can see on your screen, has many leaves, and new leaves grow periodically. That means when they shed off the old leaves, the new leaves will grow. You can see a bubble tree also. These trees, or you might have seen banyan tree also. These trees are the trees that grow on the plains. So you can understand that these plants which grow on the plains are they have a lot of branches and numerous leaves. Now, we are going to see the plants that grow in coastal areas. Now, first you need to understand what is coastal areas. As you can see on the screen, I have shown you the map, Indian map, where the black line is marked, right? That line shows the coastal areas. That means it is very closer to the sea, or it is very closer to the ocean. All that region that is comes closer to the sea or the ocean are called the coastal areas. Now, plants grow well in these hot and wet areas. Coastal regions, usually the temperature is very high, and it is good for the plants to grow, and it is wet area because it's very closer to the sea. Now you can see some examples like coconut tree. If when I say coconut tree, you can think of the state Kerala, right? Now in Kerala there is a lot of coconut tree, and they use it very extensively. Now tamarind tree, you all know tamarind tree. You all know the tamarind tree, and the rubber tree. Rubber tree means the eraser that you use. It is usually made from this rubber tree. The juice that is collected from this rubber tree. These are the examples of the trees that grow on the coastal areas. Now you understood what are coastal areas. Coastal areas are the regions that is very closer to the sea. Now, next part is the plants that grow in the marshy areas. Marshy areas have wet and clayey soil. You can see in the picture backside that it is very, there is a lot of water. Okay, marshy areas means there is a lot of water. Plants live in damp soil. Damp soil means it is wet throughout the year. There is no, it is never dry. The plants have adapted themselves in such a way that the roots are submerged inside the water and they get connected to the soil inside. The roots of these plants cannot breathe as they are submerged in the water. So the roots grow from inside of the plant called breathing roots. Now these marshy area, the plants that grow in marshy areas are special because they're submerged in the water. Submerged means they're inside the water. So their roots grow from inside of the plants called breathing roots. How we need air to breathe. So it is some way related to that. So it is called the breathing roots. You can see the example of mangroves and rhizophora. In these two pictures, you can see how the plant's roots have grown inside in the water and they have got connected to the soil underground. Now, these plants are special. Why? Because they grow in the area where there is lot of water. You need to understand the examples. The examples are important, children. Mangroves and rhizophora. Rhizophora. Mangroves and rhizophora. These are the main two examples of the plants which grow in marshy areas. And you need to understand what are the breathing roots. Breathing roots means they are special roots because they are underwater. They are called the breathing roots. Next are the plants that grow in desert area. Now, as you all know, desert is a place where there is very less rain. The ground is dry and there is very less rain, yet some plants grow and survive. Now, these plants which grow in the desert areas where there is the rainfall is very less compared to all the other region and the land is very dry, there is no water at all. Their roots go deep into the ground and they are adopted to get whatever water is available. That means their roots, the roots of these, you can see the example of the cactus plant and you can see the example of the palm tree. These two are specially adopted to grow in the deserts. What happens in the desert is because there is no water available or very less water available, their roots grow very deep into the water, into the ground. I'm sorry. They grow into the ground and they are adopted. The plants are adopted to this kind of conditions where the roots grow deep into the ground to find water. And whatever water they find, they store it inside their body. Okay. These are the adaptations of the cactus plant and palm plant. The palm tree grow in the desert area. Next is about deciduous tree. Now, you all understood that there are five different kinds of plants that grow in different areas. We saw the coniferous trees, we saw the plants which grow on plains, plants which grow on coastal areas, plants which grow on marshy areas, and plants which grow on the desert. Now these are all very good, very nice. Now we are going to see two different types of trees according to the way they shed their leaves. According to the way they shed their leaves means now some plants shed their leaves in autumn season. They shed their leaves in autumn and new leaves grow in the spring. For few months in winter, the trees don't have many leaves. Now what happens is why they shed their leaves is during winter the leaves can freeze, the temperature will be very low, so their leaves can freeze, so they shed off all their leaves. As you can see in the picture, it is the same plant which is in the during during the year they shed their all leaves. When they shed their all leaves, there is very little leaves. Now, this is the evergreen tree. Evergreen tree means they keep shedding and growing new leaves throughout the year. Throughout the year means now when a dry leaf falls off, there is new leaf growing on the tree. Like this, it is evergreen. Evergreen means throughout the year, the tree will look green. These are the main two types of plants or trees according to the way they shed their leaves. Shed their leaves means the dry leaves drop off from the trees. Next, we are going to see about aquatic plant. Till now, you learned about the terrestrial plants. That means the plants which grow on the land. Now, we are going to see about the aquatic plants. Here, you're going to see the main characteristics of these aquatic plants. Now, aquatic plants are the plants that live inside or on water. As I've shown you in the picture, you can see a lotus flower. Okay, this lotus, they grow on the what, the flower is on the water, the leaf is also on the water, the stem goes down deep inside the pond, inside the lake, and it is attached to the ground. Now they have hollow, light and flexible stem. Stem means it is the branches of the plant. Stem is like the branches of the plant. It is hollow. Hollow means it is it is empty inside. Light means it is very weightless, and flexible, it is very flexible because water keeps moving sometimes. So this to withstand this movement of the water, the stem of the aquatic plants are usually flexible. Now there are different types of aquatic plants also. You in the previous in the previous slides you saw different kinds of terrestrial plants. Here you're going to see different types of aquatic plants. The first type is the floating plant, fixed plants, underwater or submerged plants. In the further slides, you're going to learn more about these plants. First is about floating plants. The roots of these plants are not attached to the soil and have spongy bodies filled with air. Now you can see here I have shown an example of green algae and duckweed. These plants grow on the water. They don't have the roots attached to the soil or anything. They just float on the water. Usually this green algae and duckweed are the indication. Usually green algae is the indication of presence that the water is not very clean. Okay, so you can, these are the plants that float, as the name says, as the name of the plant says, the floating plants. The plants float on the water. Okay, now they have spongy bodies filled with air. Spongy body means, that means the body itself is very spongy. You all have seen sponges, right? It's filled with air. Now the examples for floating plants are green algae and duckweed. You can see the examples on your screen. Next is fixed plants. Their roots are fixed in the mud at the bottom of the pond. You can see the picture. This picture that I have shown you is the picture of the lotus plant from underwater. How it is connected to the I can show you how it is connected to the soil. The on the top it looks like this lotus and the leaves, and from the bottom it looks like your first picture. The roots are fixed to the bottom of the mud in the pond. Another example is water lily, which looks just like the lotus, but the color, there is the color difference. They are called fixed plants. That means they are fixed to one place. Their root is fixed to the mud. Now you're going to see underwater or submerged plants. Plants that grow underwater completely. That means they are completely inside the water. You can see the example of hydrilla. Now this plant, it is completely submerged under the water and it stays there throughout their life. Their roots get fixed in the muddy soil. Now if you have watched Discovery Channel or the National Geographic Channel, when they show you underwater or under ocean, they show different plants that are grown under the water. Now one of those example is hydrilla. These plants are always under the water and their roots get fixed to the muddy soil. Now in this video you saw about different plants that grow on land and different plants that grow in or on the water. Now this is about the first part of this video. So stay at home, stay safe and keep learning, children. Thank you.